So I really wanted to introduce myself and kind of give a bit of background and let you know why I do what I do, what kind of fueled me on, and just, yeah, give you a bit of insight, really. Now, I knew very early on that there was something different about Harrison. He struggled from as young as 2 with change of routine and transitioning. And this resulted in huge rage episodes almost every day. We had the usual hurdles with school. We haven't seen these behaviours. He just saves his behaviours for you. He may have attachment issues because you had postnatal depression with him. The parent blaming, I had it all. Eventually, the Senko did agree to do a referral to CAMS for me. However, she made it very clear in her referral that they do not see anything at school, and she's sure it was all my fault because of my original postnatal issues. Now, fast forward a year of fighting the system, well, another year, should I say, and Harrison was diagnosed with Tourette syndrome, ADHD, anxiety, and sensory processing disorder with traits of autism. Mouthful, huh? The Tourette's diagnosis was a really hard pill to swallow, if I'm honest. I felt grief, I felt alone, I felt very out of my comfort zone. But we finally had some answers and we could start to access support for him. Well, so I thought. It turns out support for Tourette's is really hard to come by. So I struggled and I pushed and I had a couple of tantrums myself, but we were then very fortunate to get referred to the Tandem Clinic at St. Thomas's in London. This was the closest hospital that could help with tics, and he was able to access medication for his ADHD and anxiety, and they also offered behavioural therapy for his tics. Now, this therapy was life-changing for him. In fact, it was life-changing for all of us. Harrison had access to psychoeducation to build his self-esteem, and they used behaviour therapy to teach him skills to help him manage his tics if and when he desired to. As I said, this therapy was life-changing for him. He felt empowered, he started to see great changes. Despite the therapy being so beneficial to us as a family, it was a huge commitment. We had to get the train weekly from Brighton to London, and this was expensive. It was also time-consuming, and it meant that he had to have a whole day of school and I had to have a whole day of work and also sort out childcare for my other children too. This was a lonely journey, but it inspired me to extend my training with a focus on Tourette syndrome. My background is working in behaviour therapy and also supporting those at home, in school, and the community with autism. But back in 2018, in fact, it was probably earlier than that, I made it my mission to help families with Tourette syndrome. Now, I started off by co-running the local support group, Tourette Sussex, with the amazing Lucy Toghill, who is now a huge part of Tourette's Action. And I also trained with Tourette's Action in CBIT, which is Comprehensive Behavioural Intervention for Tics. I also redid that training last year, I think it was, or maybe the year before, because I think you can always learn, and I knew that I would have missed bits from the first lot of training. Anyway, I set up Tictock Therapy in 2018 as a side hustle, really, to support the work I was doing with the community with autism and, verbal communication and getting individuals back into school. However, during the pandemic, there was a huge shift of my workload, and Tictock became my main baby. Now, CBIT is recommended as the first line intervention for tics by the American Academy of Neurology before medication. And I love nothing more than helping individuals learn these techniques to manage their tics. Unfortunately, it's really difficult to get access on the NHS, and I admit you shouldn't have to pay for it, but unfortunately, you do if you need to access it privately. But don't worry, on the back burner, I am really trying to open up the doors and access funding for therapy, so we can really cut the cost back and maybe even one day deliver it free for the community. Now, alongside the tick management therapy I do through Tictock, we also offer support, coaching, interventions, and training for the whole family, professionals, workplace, so employers, group leaders, and so on. My aim is to support everybody, not just the individual with the tics. I really have a massive passion and mission that everyone feels educated and they feel empowered, and therefore they can advocate for themselves and their families, but also for others that they might meet in the community. I hope it's helpful understanding a little bit about kind of where I've come from, and where I got, how I got here. I do actually have 4 children. They are all neurospicy, as we like to say. My eldest is ADHD, autistic combined, and also struggles with social anxiety. Harrison, who I spoke about, he is 16, and he is in the middle of his GCSEs. And I have to say, we've been very fortunate. His tics have been minimal, really, for the last year or so. I have Hayden, who is 12. He's also ADHD autistic and has a Tourette's diagnosis. And then I have Maya, who is 5.5, and she's not yet diagnosed, but she also is very likely to have an autism ADHD diagnosis herself. And last but not least, I am also ADHD. So it's quite nice that I can, really sit in the shoes of some of the clientele, personally, as well as professionally, and of course with my mum hat on as well. If you have any questions, please get in touch. This is going to be shared on the main website, but I'm going to drop this into the socials as well. So if you are seeing this from social media, drop in the comments, or you can email me, direct message me, however you wish. All the best, and I really, really hope you enjoy the rest of your day.